So what is going on, guys? It is Zenkai Gaming back again, bringing you a Mashle, Magic and Muscles Volume 1 tier list. I'm liking this series so far. It's a relatively new series. I believe it first began serialization back in 2020. So it is relatively new. I'm liking it so far. Main character is growing on me. I think this series has got some potential. Interested to see where it goes. And, you know, just enjoying the journey of Hajime Komoto-san. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going to be talking about some Mashle here. I have the volume here with me, so I'm going to be referencing this throughout the video. And let's get started. So, to start, we're going to go ahead and start with Mashle's father, Revered Burndead. Now, I don't know how to pronounce the names, so bear with me. Like I said, there's no anime adaptation yet. So, you know, that's another, you know, when there's only a manga, there's only, you know, there's so many names, so many ways to pronounce that people, you know, come up with. I'm just gonna call him Regro. So Regro Burndead, or Mashle's father. We just call him Mashle's father as well. But basically gonna throw him an F tier, right? Because he can't use he can use magic, but he's not very good at it. He's actually terrible. He's so bad at it that there's basically no difference between him and a non-magic user. Like, that's how bad he is at using magic. He's got some agility. I mean, when Mash wandered into town and, you know, everyone was looking at him, when his hood went down and they realized he didn't have a mark, you know, he did grab Mash and dash out of there pretty fast. He, you know, even surprised Mash. So he's got some agility, but he's just not gonna overpower a magic user, right? In a world where magic is everything, right? In a world where magic is everything, you can't do it unless you're Mash and you're just some freak of nature. And we're gonna go ahead and rank Mash now as well. We're gonna throw Mash in B tier. The reason for that is he's pretty much like, he wins all of his battles, right? Like every battle we saw him in, he won pretty handily, like almost gag like, right? Like it's like on some One Punch Man shit. So he's pretty OP, but there are beings in this verse stronger than him. One of those beings is Headmaster Wahlberg. We're gonna go ahead and throw him in S tier. Headmaster Wahlberg is basically the most superior figure that we've seen in Mashle so far. Like in Mashle Volume 1, the most supreme figure is Headmaster Wahlberg. You know, he even solo goes against the wishes of the Vice Principal and the Bureau of Magic when they want Mash expelled for attacking young Cable, and then he attacks, you know, the Vice Principal, or he buries the Vice Principal, right? They want him expelled, yet you know, Headmaster Wahlberg just basically burns the letter. He says, I'll deal with them, you continue, you know, to do well in your classes and activities and things like that. So like, his say is final, and he succumbs to no authority. There is no higher authority, right? Like, he is that higher authority. So he's basically, like I said, the most superior, most supreme figure in Mashle right now, in the world of Mashle. So we're gonna stick him in S tier, basically God tier. And you saw in the fight with Mash, like he could have easily, you know, used some crazy magic on Mash, or even when, you know, Mash was gonna sacrifice his hands, he could have, you know, destroyed Mash's hands permanently. But, you know, you see that he didn't want to, he wasn't even trying to hurt Mash. He didn't even want Mash to end up getting hurt. So, you know, that just shows, you know, the superiority of his magic, just on a different level. We're gonna do next. So Lemon Irvine, let's do Lemon next. We're gonna throw in E tier. She like I said, any student in Magic Eastern Academy is going to be more, you know, is going to be more exceptional than your average mage, because only the most prestigious, you know, cream of the crop students go here. You know, up and coming promising mages go here. And on top of that, only 3% of students that even take the entrance exams end up passing them. So, you know, you really have to be elite, even if you're bottom of the barrel, which I would say Lemon Irvine is bottom of the barrel for, you know, if we're comparing the students in the academy, I would say she's probably closer to the bottom of the barrel. But even then, you know, she still has to be a pretty elite mage. She still has to be pretty decent. So I don't know if I want to throw her in maybe D tier, maybe D tier, E tier. The thing is, because there's there's gonna be a lot like these gaps. I don't want to say these gaps are equal. Like this, the gap between Mash and, you know, Headmaster Wahlberg, I don't want to say is the same as the gap between, you know, F and D or D and B tier, right? But because this is volume 1, we haven't been introduced to that many characters. It's gonna seem that way at first, but over time, once we get into more volumes, this tier list is gonna balance itself out. So just bear with me. This guy will go ahead and stick in E tier. He was getting bullied by Cable. Now, the thing with Cable is, it's implied that people only accept his, you know, only accept his shit because of who he is, who his father is, right? Not because of his magical prowess. So these students might actually be better mages than Cable, but we don't know that for sure, right? We don't know that. So let's stick Cable in E tier, like with the students. Let's just stick them both in E tier, or stick them all in E tier. Like I said, students that are for sure above Cable, like Mash, would not get. He did, but that's because he was, you know, unsuspecting, and then when he saw Cable was doing something wrong, you know, he obviously stood up to him. So I feel like the students that are actually stronger or better mages will stand up to him if they have to, but we don't know for sure. So let's just put them kind of, now this, we'll say this is not in order, but they're in the same tier. So the police officer, we'll throw him in F tier. Actually, maybe we'll put him at, now let's throw him in F tier. Let's throw him in F tier, because it doesn't make sense for us to only have one character in F tier, right? So let's throw him in F tier. I would say he's, you know, obviously higher than Mash's father because he can use magic, but I wouldn't say he's a very adept magic user, like even to compare to the students, because like I said, that the pass rate for the entrance exam is only 3%. Like you really have to be elite to even be a student at Easton Magic Academy. So I would say they're all above your standard mages, and probably even your police officers. I don't know how strong this dude is, so I can't really say for sure, but I'm gonna just throw him in F tier for now. The teacher, I think the teacher we could put in D tier. We don't know how strong she is, but you know, she is teaching the students, so there is magic. She does know, there is magic that she knows that the students don't know. So for that reason, and she has experience, so for that reason, I would probably throw her above the students for now, at least as of right now. Ben Ames, we can go ahead and throw him in E tier. He is becoming Mash's best friend. But he doesn't have much confidence in himself yet. We haven't seen much of what he can do. So for that reason, we're gonna go ahead and throw him in E tier as well. Who else? This guy, this is Tom Knowles, right? This was last year's Duelo MVP. So, you know, he knows how to ride a broom. He's got to be pretty adept at magic, at least, to be able to, you know, be a sports MVP. He's got to have some kind of talent, even if it's not elite. So we're gonna go ahead and throw him in D tier. I believe he's an upperclassman as well. So we're gonna go ahead and say he's above these students here. Go ahead and throw him in D tier for now. Like I said, some of you people ahead of me, if we're ahead of volume 1, might know that this guy's actually pretty strong, and maybe he belongs in here, maybe he belongs here, right? But just for right now, based off of volume 1, we're gonna throw him in D tier. I don't know if he's stronger than the teacher or not. We're just gonna throw him in D tier. Let's see. Cloud Lucci. We're gonna throw him in C tier. All right, he is ranked 7th in this year's top up-and-coming mages, but Mash dispatches him pretty quickly, so and pretty easily as well. So I wouldn't say he's like B tier or anything like that. But I would say he's probably above the teacher, right? Because he's pretty prestigious. You know, the students look up to him. They're like, oh my gosh, that's Cloud Lucci. He's great. Yeah, I've never seen this kind of magic before. You know, they're just hyping him up. So he's pretty prestigious. I would say he's C tier for now. But, and this is where I want to, like, it's kind of weird because, like, this gap, like, Mash is far above him based off what we saw, at least. And this is only a tier, right? Whereas, like these tier imbalances are just, you know what I mean? So just bear with me, bear with the tiers. Let's just say these are their tiers for now, and don't try to, you know, think that these tiers, like the gaps are the same. Like the gap between F and E is the same as the gap between E and D, right? Like these are just their tiers for now. And how much of a gap is between those tiers is going to depend on the tier. Who are we missing? The vice principal. We can go ahead and throw him in D tier, under Cloud Lucci, probably above the teacher, right? Because that's just how the hierarchy is. I'm guessing. You know, you have the principal, you have your principal above the vice principal. He's above the teachers, right? Let's just go ahead and throw him right here in D tier. This is Rain Ames, right? This is last year's Divine Visionary. Now the Divine Visionaries are to lead the Bureau of Magic, right? Like these are really the, you know, only one student every year, I believe, that one exceptional student becomes a Divine Visionary and is, you know, moves on to lead the Bureau of Magic. This is why they go to Eastern Magic Academy, is because, you know, they polish and sharpen, you know, the next generation of the, you know, Bureau of Magic, you know, workers, employees, whatever you want to call them, right? They're basically raising the next generation of the Bureau of Magic. So he's a Divine Visionary. We'll go ahead and stick him in A tier. We don't know much about the Divine Visionaries yet, but we can assume that they're pretty strong. Like they're the elite of the elite. Only one student of all the elite students in Eastern Magic Academy become a Divine Visionary. So let's go ahead and stick him in A tier. Lance Crown. We're gonna stick him in B tier, right? So at the end of the volume, Mash and Lance are engaged in battle, and they're pretty even, it seems. You know, at first Lance Crown gets the advantage on him, you know, with Graviole, and then Mash gets the advantage on Lance by pulling the root out of the ground, and then now he's standing over him. So Mash had the advantage or the upper hand at the end of the volume 1. So we can say they're even for now. If not, Mash is a little stronger. And a little volume 2 spoiler. This is even confirmed at the end of their fight, where Mash questions, you know, he says, you know, if we really fought, I wonder what would have happened, right? Implying that they weren't really fighting seriously, and that if they did, you know, he doesn't even know what would have happened. Maybe he would win, maybe Lance would win, right? So this is implying that they're even. I would say Mash is slightly above. Like, if anything, if they're not even, I would say Mash is slightly above, just because he's the character and this is his story and he has to win the battle, right? Because even Lance Crown says, you know, the last time we fought to a draw, you know, we were even. Maybe you would have won if we continued to fight, right? And he was talking about Mash. So, you know, basically they're even. Basically even. So we're gonna stick him in B tier. Brad Coleman, we're gonna stick a tier. We're gonna stick him in D tier. We're gonna stick him in D tier. I think even above the vice principal, because he did used to be on the Bureau of Magic. He did drive a dragon back. Now we don't know how strong dragons are or anything like that, but you know, they did say he drove a dragon back. The police officer said he drove a dragon back, and he was trying to put all this hype behind it and everything. So, you know, just the fact that he was even on the Bureau of Magic just shows that he's got to be somewhat adept at using magic. You know, somewhat advanced. He knows some advanced spells. You know, like Nalcum Pass Diagoras, right? That was gonna level an entire forest. I don't know if that was Cap, but you know, maybe it was actually going to destroy the entire forest, right? Like, we can say this is Cap, or we can say this is the author trying to put in feats for the characters, right? Without directly stating them. Either way, this guy is not a pushover. Compared to Mash, maybe, but even your average everyday mage can't hold a candle to this dude, right? So, I mean, maybe we can even put him in C tier, but maybe we can put him in C tier. What do you think? We put him in C tier, like right there? Because this gap right here was pretty big, though. That's why I want to put him in D tier. And then maybe say Cloud Lucci is probably above him, like a tier above him. like I said, it's gonna be a little tough to rank this, you know, tier list based off what we have in volume 1. Oh no, my book. That's all right. My book is still in good condition. The only thing about paperbacks, you got to be careful of the pages. Like, I like to read and look at it a lot, but like the pages bend over time, so you got to be careful of that. But like I said, it's gonna be tough. After reading volume 1, you know, this is my interpretation of the tier list. And like, who's stronger than who in these? Some of these, I don't know for sure. I can't say for sure. Like, obviously, I'd say the police officer is stronger than Mashle's father, but I don't know if I would say Cable is stronger than these guys necessarily, right? Just off of sheer magical prowess, I don't know if I could say that. Same with some of these. I don't know where I could rank these guys exactly, right? But you basically get the picture. This is how I would rank the tiers so far. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Keep watching keep reading Mashle. Anime is coming soon, hopefully, so we'll be able to watch Mashle and see all this cool stuff get animated. Stay tuned for volume 2. This is Zenkai Gaming signing off. Take care, guys.